Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board of Zoning Appeals for April. Let's start with introduction of members, starting with Jennifer.
Jennifer Barth, alternate.
Thank you.
Sherry McCormick.
Matt Mahoney, Planning Commission.
Bob Potter, member.
Mike Bassinger, member.
Dennis Kohler, Building Inspector.
Katrina Ingram, Planning and Zoning.
Phil Goldsmith, Township Attorney.
Jody Rector, Planning and Zoning.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. May I have a roll call? Okay.
Mr. Bassinger.
Here.
Mr. Potter.
Here.
Mr. Mahoney.
Here.
Ms. McCormick. Here. And I'm going to actually ask Ms. Barth, unless Mr. Gore ends up attending, we're going to have Ms. Barth serve for the first item on at least moving forward with the agenda.
Fine. Okay, welcome. Next item of business is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next would be approval of the minutes of the last meeting, March 3rd. Would look for a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Any support? Okay, thank you. Any comments, changes needed? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New business, item 6. Need to open the public hearing regarding the appeal of Jeffrey and Beth Miller on Section Road in Lambertville. Would anybody like to make that motion to open?
I'll move we open the public hearing.
Any support?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Jody, would you like to read the write-up?
Yes, the applicants are Jeffrey and Beth Miller, 3472 Section Road and 3480 Section Road in Lambertville, Michigan. Parcels number 5802, 031, 09600, and 5802, 031, 09700. And should the variance be granted, the intent is to combine those two parcels. Both parcels are split zone, R2A and R2B, single-family residential, and the variance is to construct a 94 by 40 accessory building to be located in the front yard. The applicant is seeking a variance to construct a 3,216 square foot area accessory building garage to be located within the front yard. The applicant's intent is to combine the two parcels, which will result in the proposed garage to extend approximately 15.3 feet beyond the front building line of the existing home at 3472 Section Road. The desire is to utilize the existing shared drive, which splits the two parcels, and I did provide a map. Once the parcels have been approved through the land division process, the resulting parcel will provide a 330 feet of frontage on Section Road and a total of 9.9 acres. Per Section 419.03, 4 accessory buildings shall not be erected in any minimum side yard setback nor in any front yard pursuant to the schedule of regulations set forth. The applicant has stated practical hardships and difficulties in the submitted letter due to the topography of the property. Therefore, a variance to allow an accessory building to be located in the front yard is required. A letter is provided from Teresa Vitale, Assistant Assessor, confirming a land division application has been received to the Assessing Department and will continue to work with the applicant should the variance be granted. At this time, no letters or calls of objection have been received, and should the variance request be granted, the variance required is to allow an accessory building to be constructed in the front yard, conditioned upon a submitted land division application and approval from the Township Assessing Department, and upon submitting for a building permit within 6 months. I just want to scroll down real quick to give the visual of the property. This would be when they are proposed garage area. And the drive then splits. You can see it better on the aerial. This is Section Road. This is one of the parcels, the existing parcel with the existing home. And this is the subject parcel, and you can clearly see the shared drive. We do allow at the time 2 homes on 1 drive. And the intent is to build the accessory building, which would then encroach in front of the front building line of the existing home once the parcels are combined.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Can you confirm, is the house at 3472 Section Road?
The house is at 3472 Section Road.
Okay, thanks.
The applicant is present.
Okay, would the applicant like to step forward to the mic? State your name and address.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jeff Miller, the owner of the property at 3472 Section Road in Lambertville. And thank you for the consideration of the variance. Just a couple of quick notes. As noted by Jody, the requested variance is because the proposed building is right at the crest of a steep hill that falls away to Halfway Creek. By moving it slightly forward, we avoid needing really a prohibitive amount of fill on a pretty steep slope. And also, will help prevent erosion on that hill. I'd also note that there's a power pole that sits, it used to sit right on the property line, but it's kind of like in the middle of the house on Section Road. And by moving it forward, you actually allow better access into the building. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of tight for trying to get access to the side of the building from that. So I think those are the reasons for the practical hardship. And I would also note that the proposed building is going to be 600 feet from both the front property line and the back property line. And although it's just a little bit in front of our house, it's actually behind the front of the neighbor's house to the west. So I think it would be not really disruptive to the neighborhood in any way. So thank you for your consideration of the variance.
Well, thank you. It appears that the proposed building is 60 feet deep, but only 15 feet of it
That's correct.
is in front of the front building line of your house.
That's correct. We tried to minimize the amount that it went forward.
Are there any questions of any of the board members? Oh, okay. Thank you. Are there any comments from anybody else in the audience, since this is still the public hearing part of it? Oops.
Gail Kane, Temperance. We don't get to see this beforehand, so I'm a little confused. Jody has used the word split and combination in the description of this. So what is split and what is combined? I mean, is it a vacant parcel here?
There's a vacant parcel with a driveway in it and a parcel with a house, and those 2 parcels are going to be combined to one ownership, to one owner.
Okay.
And then the combined parcel will have I'm going to say the new part of the combined parcel will have this proposed
The garage.
barn
So,
on it.
so that'll all be pending if the township combines it, correct?
The building is
Correct. This is eligible to be combined into one legal description. And I would presume that the applicant doesn't want to complete the lot combination pending what occurs here. There would be no reason to do that because it's a buildable lot unto itself if they chose to do that. This way, it'll be one lot, they'll be combined, there won't be any other principal dwelling units allowed to be built on that one combined lot. So I think that addresses the issue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. Then we close the public hearing part, there's no other comments, motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close public hearing?
And second?
Support.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Are there any comments from the board? Yes.
I want to thank the applicant for clearly stating your practical difficulty in your letter. You have a couple of them I think you have to deal with. That's sometimes lacking when people apply for a variance. I think the building, once these properties are combined, it'll go with the flow of the neighborhood, won't be a sore thumb. I mean, it'll be close to a 10-acre lot, so it'll be in proportion with everything. I don't see a problem with it.
Anybody else? Are we ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion to allow construction of a 94 by 40 accessory building at 3480 Section Road, otherwise known as parcel 5802-031-097-00, allowing for a 15 foot 3 inches. Is that right? Variance to move the building into the front yard of the neighboring home on parcel number 5802-031-096-00. I get the parcel numbers right? Okay.
I think so.
Contingent upon granting a land combination should this variance be granted.
I'll second that.
Okay, should there be a mention of the practical difficulty? The slope of the rear yard prohibits moving the building any further back, plus the location of a telephone pole, power pole.
Correct.
Is that a friendly amendment?
I'll accept it.
I'll accept it.
Okay. Any more discussion? Jody, I think we're ready for a vote.
Mr. Mahoney?
Aye.
Mr. Bassinger?
Aye.
Ms. McCormick?
Aye.
Ms. Barth?
Aye.
Mr. Potter?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Ready? The next item is to open the public hearing regarding the appeal of Shauna Horvath and Liberty Farms on Monroe Road in Lambertville. May I have a motion to open that public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, and a second from anybody?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Jody, would you please? Thank you.
Yes, the applicant is Shauna Horvath, 8243 Monroe Road, and it's for Liberty Farms, R3, located within the Lambertville Village Overlay District, parcel 5802-019-14000 on approximately 1.91 acres. Per section 41702B Lambertville Village Overlay District, for parcels having a residential underlying zoning district, those uses permitted as principal uses in a C1 and C2 district and mixed-use development shall be permitted as principal uses, provided that the parcel is contiguous on at least one side of the buildable parcel or a portion of a buildable parcel that is zoned or used for commercial use or is contiguous to a parcel that contains an existing mixed-use development. This subject site is contiguous to the Lambertville Civic Club, which is being considered as a commercial use. The applicant is seeking another 2-year approval to place a 20 by 40, 800 square foot temporary structure on the southeast side of the existing accessory pole barn. Per section 41903(2), temporary accessory buildings and or structures shall not be permitted of any size unless approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals prior to the placement, and upon approval of the Board of Zoning Appeals, the applicant must secure a valid township building permit. Per section 400.2204, number 1C5, permitted temporary buildings and uses shall not exceed a period of 2 years in underdeveloped sections of the township and for periods not to exceed 6 months in developed sections. The applicant has provided a letter stating the request is to allow the temporary structure from May through October for 2 years, 25 and 26. Due to the lapse of approval for the 2024, the applicant has advised in the submitted letter it was a misunderstanding of the approval timeframe. The applicant has indicated due to the difficulty to set up and take down the temporary structure in a timely manner due to accommodate each event. The applicant is asking the board to consider allowing Liberty Farm of Lambertville to continue its success and permit the temporary structure for the requested additional time frame. Due to the lapse in time frame, the planning department requested an updated letter from Pastor Gary Singer of God's Grace Church, 8240 Monroe Road, dated 3/9 of 2025, permitting Ms. Horvath's use to utilize the parking lot of the church. This provides for Liberty Farm of Lambertville additional parking until some event or necessity dictates a change. The previous approval minutes have been included for review of the certificate of compliance for the Bedford Township, signed by Dennis Kohler, the building official of compliance, from the 4/4 of 22 approval. At this time, no letters or cause of objection have been received. However, the applicant has supplied 8 letters of no objection, and we did include a map. Planning Department has verified with ordinance enforcement there have been no concerns or complaints submitted to the township. Should the request be granted, the following variances are required: to allow the temporary structure for 2 years, 25 and 26, May through October as requested, conditioned upon continuing to comply with all township zoning ordinance requirements, building code, and fire code. I will scroll down and provide the aerial. Here is her barn, here is her house, and then she puts the tent around the circle drive, which has connection through the barn area for accessibility. And then her letters, her certificate of compliance from 2022, the previous minutes that required, her pictures that she provided showing that of her compliance of ADA accessibility and bathroom facilities. And then this is the parcel that is adjacent to the Lambertville Civic Club. Applicant is here and present for any questions.
Okay, would the applicant, thank you, Jody, would the applicant like to approach the bench?
Hello.
And name and address, please.
Shauna Horvath, 8243 Monroe Road, Lambertville, Michigan, 48144, and I own Liberty Farm of Lambertville.
Thank you. Would you like to add anything to what Jody told us?
No, other than I apologize for the misunderstanding about last year. It was an honest mistake. I came in getting my application this year, and she's like, "You missed 24," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It just was a complete oversight. For some reason, I thought I was 22 to 23 and 23 to 24, and I was good, and I coming in 25, and I found out I had missed it. So I sincerely apologize, and I will pay any additional fees or fines. You know, I feel horrible about it.
Not alone. Yes.
How long have you been doing this, or how long have you been using this temporary structure? How many years?
This is we're going into our 9th season. We open in May.
So you've been through this every couple of years for quite a while. Any questions or comments from any of the board? No? Any comments from anybody in the audience? Okay. I guess we'll move to close the public hearing part of it.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, then any other comments by the board? Are we ready for a motion to proceed?
I'll make a motion to allow a temporary structure for 2 years, 2025 and 2026, May through October. Conditioned upon continuing to comply with all township zoning ordinance requirements, building code, and fire code at 8243 Monroe Road, Lambertville.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second Phil, I'm assuming there's no need for a practical difficulty. Thank you, Katrina.
Not
in
with
this particular
respect
case.
to, this is under the section of the ordinance that allows a temporary structure. Practical difficulty is not required.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other comments by the board to the motion? Or okay, Jody, may we have a roll call?
Mr. Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Bassinger.
Aye.
Mrs. Barth.
Aye.
Ms. McCormick.
Aye.
Mr. Potter.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Next item, I'd like to have a motion to open the public hearing regarding the appeal of Jeffrey and Lisa Williams Trust in Temperance. Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for Jeffrey and Lisa Williams.
Thank you. Okay. We have a motion and a support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Jody, would you care to read the?
Yes, the applicants are Jeffrey and Lisa Williams, 6697 Fortuna Drive, Temperance, Michigan, 48182, parcel number 5802-250-07800, on .941 of an acre, R3, single-family residential. The applicant, the subject property consists of .941 acres, and the applicant is requesting to build a 50 by 64 accessory building, 20.1 feet in height, with an 8 foot by 24 lean-to, a total of 3,392 square feet. The applicant has an existing 14 by 24 shed, 336 square feet on the property, bringing the proposed total cumulative accessory building square footage to 3,728. Per section 419.03, accessory buildings in an R3 single-family residential zoning district on a parcel more than a half acre, the cumulative and maximum square footage for accessory buildings is 2,500 square feet and a maximum permitted height of 14. Therefore, a 1,228 square foot area variance and a 6.1 foot height variance is required. The applicant is proposing the accessory building in the rear yard with a 17-foot side yard setback on the north side of the property and a 15-foot rear yard setback on the southwestern corner of the property, a 15-foot side yard setback on the south side of the property, and a 16-foot setback from the lean-to to the porch to the existing shed. Per section 419.03, accessory buildings 20 feet in height are required a minimum placement of 20 feet from the property line, 20 feet from any building. That is, by the Michigan Building Code, requires 10 foot from any building. Therefore, a plus or minus 3 foot side yard setback variance for the north side, a 5 foot rear yard setback variance for the southwestern corner, and a 5 foot side yard setback variance for the south side property, and a 4 foot building to building setback variance is required. The applicant has stated in the submitted letter the desire is to maintain the shed currently on the property and stated the requested pole barn is needed to store a camper and other items on the property. The applicant provided 6 letters of no objection from the surrounding properties, and at this time no letters or calls of objection have been received. Should the variance request be granted, the variance is required are a 5 foot rear yard setback on the south, a 5 foot side yard setback on the west, a 3 foot side yard setback on the north, a 4 foot setback on the existing shed, and a 1,228 square foot area variance and a 6.1 foot height variance. I'm going to quickly scroll down to give you the visual of the property so you can see the property runs on an angle going to the north. Down here would be Fortuna. The property runs on an angle on the north side, so at the closest point to the structure it's going to be 15 feet, and since we don't know going the angle of it, we're going to ask for the entire westerly side. That would be the rear property line. This would be the south, this would be the north side, and then this is the setback building to building. And the applicant can speak more on that.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant here? Would you care to approach the podium? Give us your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Williams, property owner of 6697 Fortuna Drive, and this is my wife, Lisa.
Thank you, welcome. Do you have any comments in addition to what Jody already told us?
Well, I guess I don't know if everybody read the letters or not, but pretty much we're buying an RV, so we want to keep that inside with various trailers and my pickup truck. We want to keep that all inside. So I figure we worked our butts off to buy the things, might as well keep them nice. So that's why we'd like to build a pole barn.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add?
Anybody else in the audience have comment on this? Okay, then we can, yes.
I would just like to inform the applicant that, yes, all the letters that you provided us were provided to the board members, and your letter was provided to them as well, just for the record for him.
Thank you. Thank you. So shall we close the public hearing portion? Motion to do that?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Excellent. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. You can stay in case. Do any of the members of the board have questions for the applicant? So I guess my main question is, you need that much of a barn space on less than an acre of ground?
Yeah, the RV we're purchasing is 38 feet long, and the reason we have to have the variances between the property lines is being the camper's 13 foot tall. We went and seen a builder, so we had to have 16-foot walls for the RV to fit with a 14-foot door. So when we went to the higher, it made the variance of the property lines get farther apart. So we were hoping 15, but when we went taller, it became 20. So this is why we're asking for the variance.
Okay. The appearance of the outside, you are in a residential area, the appearance of the outside of the barn, is that metal siding?
Yes. Yep.
But it's, as I understood from the picture, there's a design, a different color.
Wainscot. So yeah, that's not the exact same color, but that's what they gave us. That's what the builder sent us there. Mm-hmm. So it'll match the house.
Any questions from the board? The question I have, another one, can this all be combined in as one variance, or is there going to be a separate variance for each?
I believe, depending on if there is something different that you want to grant and you don't want to grant, then I would make them separate. But otherwise, it can be all one motion. I'm going to let Phil speak.
Well, we don't know until a vote's taken. So there are a number of variances here. I think it would be better to make a record to do one each separate. Sorry for that news, but you don't know until it goes to a vote of the board whether it's going to be granted or not. So we can't say do it in one and presume that it would be granted or denied based on one motion.
Okay. And again, because I'm chairman, I don't do motions. Okay. All right. So I can't help out. Okay. Well, if there's no comments from the...
I got a comment.
Yes, thank you.
I don't have a question. In your letter, you didn't state a single practical difficulty, and you're asking for a real extreme variance, and this is like bigger than a lot of people's homes. And there's a reason why I think we, by ordinance, control the size of accessory buildings. And you're asking for a number of variances. I can't support this request.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, anybody ready for a motion? Well, let's do as our legal counsel suggests. Do a motion on the start with each one separately. Rear yard. Okay, let's do.
Yes.
Let's have a motion, yay or nay, for the rear yard setback, 5-foot variance. Want to go ahead?
I'll make the motion to approve plus or minus 5-foot rear yard setback variance, which I won't be supporting.
Is your motion to approve it?
Mm-hmm.
We need support or the motion dies.
I'll support.
Okay. We have a motion and a support. Any discussion? Jody, roll call vote.
Mr. Mahoney,
No?
Ms. Barth,
Yay.
I'm sorry,
Yay.
nay. Ms. McCormick,
Nay.
I'm sorry, yes or no?
Oh, no.
No. Mr. Bassinger,
No.
Mr. Potter,
No.
motion failed.
Okay. What a motion on the
5-foot side,
this is silly. 5-yard
5-foot side.
5-foot side
setback.
yard variance to the west.
That one would be to the south, Bob.
The first one was to the south.
I think,
Was it? Oh,
Unless the write-up is wrong.
can we do all the setback variances together?
We have a 5-foot side yard setback and a 3-foot side yard setback. So those could be done at the same time. The side yard setback variances. Go ahead and do those at the same time.
So the first one we did was the
rear.
rear. Okay.
Just to clarify the record, is that on the west or is that on the south?
The west
The rear
side
yard
and
is
the south
the-
side are both 5-yard setbacks.
And the west is the rear yard.
The west is the rear. And
Okay, and so that's what we did.
Yes.
The
we just
5-foot
did.
rear yard setback, west property line. That
Yes.
that was that failed. That motion failed. Okay, now we go to I want to make the record be clear. Now we go to the side yard setback variance request. One is 5 foot, one is 3 foot, one is on the south, one is on the north. Do it in one motion, please.
Okay. I have a motion to approve or deny the 2 side yard setback variances, one 5 foot to the south, one 3 foot to the north.
I'll make a motion to approve a plus or minus 5-foot side yard setback variance to the west, a plus or minus 3-foot side yard setback variance to the north, plus or minus 4-foot setback variance from the existing shed.
Okay, any support for that?
Support the motion.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Jody, roll call vote, please.
You want to give clarification on that it was for all those?
Yeah, it speaks for itself, but Pat made the motion for 3 of the requested variances: side yard, and building to building. So that's the motion. I think that was clearly
Yes.
stated. We have a motion, we have support. We're ready for a roll call vote.
Who supported that?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, McCormick.
Mr. Mahoney?
No.
Ms. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Barth?
Aye.
Mr. Bassinger?
No.
Mr. Potter?
No.
Motion failed.
Okay. And then the next variance request is 1,228 square foot area variance for the building itself. May I have a motion to accept or deny that?
I'll make a motion to approve a plus or minus 1,228 square foot area variance of the pole building.
Any support?
I'll support it.
Okay. We have a motion and a support. Any discussion? No? Jody?
Mr. Mahoney?
No.
Mr. Bassinger?
No.
Ms. Barth?
Aye.
Ms. McCormick?
No.
Mr. Potter?
No.
Motion failed.
Okay, and then the last one is, well, okay. The last one is a 6.1 foot height variance.
I'll make a motion to approve a plus or minus 6.1 foot height variance.
Support.
Discussion? Jody, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Mahoney?
No.
Mr. Bassinger?
No.
Ms. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Barth?
No.
Mr. Potter?
No.
Motion failed.
Okay. So, Mr. and Mrs. Williams, what this is saying is we'd like you to put something in that's either at the requirement or something close to that requirement. This is just exceeds the requirement by way too much.
Is the height, so the height's going to be a problem too then? Okay. Okay. All right. So I
I
guess
don't know about the
we'll have
height,
to-
but certainly the area.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on our list is a motion to open the public hearing regarding the appeal of Michael Martin in Temperance with a height variance for an accessory building. May I have a motion to open that public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Support?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Jody, please.
Yes, the applicant is Michael Martin, 420 Pickard. Parcel number 5802-450-02300 on .958 of an acre, R2B, single-family residential. The subject property consists of .958 acres, and the applicant is requesting to construct a 30 by 30, 900 square foot accessory building with 12-foot walls and a 10-foot door for an overall mean height of 14.5 per section 419.03 accessory buildings in an R2B single-family residential zoning district. A parcel of more than half acre is permitted a maximum height of 14 feet. Therefore, the applicant is requesting the half-foot height variance to construct the 30 by 30 accessory building. The property has an existing 744 square foot detached garage, which would bring the total square footage of accessory buildings to 1,644, where 2,500 cumulative square footage is permitted. The proposed location of the accessory building complies with the required setbacks, and the applicant states in the submitted letter the request height is due to the required door height to be able to store his trailer indoors. At this time, no calls or letters of objection have been received, and the applicant provided 2 letters of no objection. Should the variance request be granted, the variances required are a half-foot height variance to construct the 30 by 30 accessory building.
Thank you. Is the applicant in the audience? Would you like to approach the podium, please? State your name and address.
My name is Michael Martin. I live at 420 Pickard Road, Temperance, Michigan, 48182.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add beyond what Jody
Just that the building that I'm using now, the property's being sold, it will not be any longer available to me, and I want to bring it to my house anyway. When I was figuring the plans, I thought I was on. I'm 5.48 inches over, I guess. And the reason for the sidewall height, my chain fall frame is 11.7 high. And my trailer is 9'7". Is that the need for the 10-foot door?
Okay. Is there anybody in the audience that has a comment on this or question? Ready? Close the public hearing then. Motion to close.
Make a motion to close.
Okay, thank you. Support?
Support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty. Are there any questions or comments that the board members have? Oh, okay. Are we ready for a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have no idea how the board will vote on this, but when Mr. Martin mentioned a chain fall, I just want to make it clear that you're in an R2B single-family residential zoning district.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using a chain fall for any type of commercial purposes or for hire.
I work on my own vehicles, I work on my own trailers, and it's personal use only.
Okay, and I just wanted to make it clear that that's all that's allowed should the variance be granted.
I understand that, yeah.
Okay.
I do it, it's all my personal.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Phil. Questions, comments? Are we ready for a motion to proceed?
I'll make a comment about, you really didn't present a practical difficulty, but the way I look at it, you're not asking a lot either. I don't know if 5 or 6 inches is going to be a big deal breaker for me. I don't know. Pardon? Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. It's a big difference between this request and the previous one.
I'm not a big fan of metal buildings. Looks like Kentucky or Bedford, but you got it tucked away back in your backyard.
It's going to be a very nice looking building, I think anyway. I wouldn't put junk up in my yard.
I'll make a motion to approve a plus or minus 0.5 foot height variance in construction of a 30 by 30 accessory building at 420 Pickard Road, otherwise known as parcel number, property number 5802-450-023-00.
Okay, is there support?
Support.
Okay. Any discussion?
Which one supported?
Jennifer?
Yeah. Jody, roll call?
Mr. Mahoney.
Aye.
Ms. Barth. Aye. Ms. McCormick.
Aye.
Mr. Bassinger.
Aye.
Mr. Potter.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Moving right along, I'd like to have a motion to open the public hearing regarding the appeal of Shane and Tracy Gatter. Did I pronounce that? Okay. Intemperance May I have a motion to open that public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open.
Thank you. Support?
Support.
Okay, super. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Jody, would you read the discussion?
Yes, the applicants are Shane and Tracy Gatter, 8501 Minks Road, Temperance, Michigan, 5802-024-00357, 5 acres, agriculturally zoned. The variance is for a 4-foot fence requirement where such an enclosure shall be located not more than 100 feet from the swimming pool to install an in-ground pool with a powered safety cover. On November 28, 2018, a special approval and site plan approval for a pond was approved by the Planning Commission to construct a single-family home in conjunction with the pond on site. In 2020, a building permit for the home and the pond was submitted and a certificate of occupancy was issued on 3/25 of 2021. At the time of the approval for the pond, no fencing was provided or required with the approval. The applicant is requesting to install an in-ground pool. However, per section 400-901, number 14, letter F, states, for the protection of the general public, all areas containing swimming pools shall be completely enclosed by a fence not less than 4 feet in height above the surface of the ground of chain link or equal and penetratable construction. All vertical members of the said fence shall be on the swimming pool side thereof, and all horizontal members shall be spaced not more than 1 1/2 inches apart. The gate shall be self-closing and latching type with the latch on the inside of the gate and not readily available for children to open. Gate shall be compatible of all secured locked. Such enclosure shall be located for not more than 100 feet distance from the swimming pool. A building or masonry wall of at least 4 feet in height may be used as or a part of such swimming pool enclosure. However, if the swimming pool is constructed above ground, so the exterior thereof is at least 44 inches above ground level, measuring perpendicularly from the top of the said pool, and the exterior construction of the said above a ground pool meets the minimum construction standards for a pool enclosures contained in the preceding paragraph. An entry into such above ground pool is only by means of a ladder that locks up in place when the pool is not in use. Then the fence and gate required in the preceding paragraph of this section shall not be required. The applicant has noted in the submitted letter, due to the isolation distance from the closest neighbor, access to the pool is limited from the general public. Noting if a member of the public wanted to access the pool, it would take a dedicated walk or drive to the property, which if a concentrated effort to the pool was taken, that in his opinion a 4-foot fence would be a small obstacle to overcome. The applicant stated he will be installing an automatic pool cover meeting ASTM standards for safety covers as provided by CoverStar. The pool company information was provided. As noted in 2015, International Swimming Pool and Spa Section 300 barrier requirements, swimming pools with a power safety cover that complies with the ASTM F1346 is an exception to the required barrier by code. However, it does not comply by ordinance, and I did provide that section of the building code requirements. Thus, the variance requests for a 4-foot fence requirement from the ordinance to allow the automatic pool cover to serve as protection of the general public as provided in Section 305 of the 215 International Building Code exception requirement for swimming pools and spas. At this time, no letter or cause of objection have been received, and should consideration be given to this request, the following is required. A variance from Section 400-901, number 14, letter F, of the 4-foot fence requirement where such an enclosure shall be located not more than 100 feet distance from a swimming pool to install an in-ground pool with an automatic powered safety cover meeting the ASTM standards for the safety cover specifications per Section 215 of the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code per Section 305 barrier requirements for exception for pools, swimming pools, and spas.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Okay, would you give us your...
If I could, I just wanted the board to know that this was the site plan that was provided for the application for the pond, and I just wanted to make sure that the board knew that the planning department included this just so you could get a full visual. The applicant had provided the information showing the pool and that from the distance of the home, but I wanted the board to be able to see the full visual to show that his parcel is quite large of 5 acres, and it does have the pond and the area in the back, so where the pool is proposed.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Shane Gatter, 8501 Minks, Temperance, Michigan. I think Jody covered my letter pretty well. Thank you very much. So yeah, the hardship, the practical hardship is not really a practical, it's more of a mindset, safety. We believe that the automatic safety cover is going to fully enclose the pool and lock it. And the cover is rated for up to 450 pounds of cover on top, weight on top. So to me, I feel safer to have that cover than to have a 4-foot fence that someone could to get around, jump, whatever.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to come up and make a comment on this? Yes, Gail.
Gail Kane, Temperance. Okay, so there's a pond and a pool. Am I correct in that? Okay.
Pond and will be a pool.
Well, all right, so I can understand the pond because most ponds don't have, per se, a fence. I'm concerned because it doesn't state here what the neighbors, if there's any neighbors. But a pool have a fence, and I don't care whether you have a cover or not or how tight the cover is. All it takes is one time somebody forgets to close it, and you could have an accident waiting to happen. Not that it couldn't happen in the pond, but to me it's just a different setup, and I just don't think you should. I mean, especially if it's used by little kids for swimming or something like that. It just takes one mistake. Somebody hits the button wrong and it opens up and nobody knows that it's open. And if it's close to the home versus where the pond appears to be out further, that's the only concern I would have, especially if I was a neighbor. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, can we close the public hearing? Could I have a motion to close the public hearing portion?
Motion to close public hearing part.
Thank you. Second, support? Support. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Are there any comments or questions to the applicant that the board members have? Yes.
Is this a Cover Star? Is this a Cover Star brand pool cover?
Yes.
And when did they come out with the version that they're using today?
I don't know the exact date of when it was.
Year?
It's been years though. I mean, I've been installing them for 10 years, so.
Our ordinances were adopted in 1977, I believe. Is that right? And technology changes, and sometimes the ordinances don't always keep up. This might be a case for that. I was watching a couple videos about how they work, and seeing somebody actually walk on it, and it doesn't sink in, and the tracks are integral with the sidewalls, correct? So it's pretty secure.
Very secure. Am I able to make some comments?
Sure.
So one, I think it's a superior safety barrier. So one, you close that pool with intent, right? So you close it, the switch actually locks, you walk away with that key, no one can get in that pool. Where a fence, especially when it's securing the entire backyard, I prop gates open to take a lawnmower back there. You let kids play in the backyard. One, it's not only protecting the public, but it's also protecting the people in the house, right? The gatters are going to close that. Like I said, the pool with intent, and then the pool itself is closed. There's, access to the, pool area.
Okay, thank you. For the record, would you state your name and address?
Sure. I'm Nick Leggio, Toledo Pools, 625 Echo Road, Perrysburg, Ohio.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
And pool covers, they've been incorporated in Michigan code, correct?
Yeah, so the Michigan code, both the residential and the building code reference the International Pool and Spa Code, and then the International Pool and Spa Code references that ASTM standard 1346. And the cover does meet that ASTM 1346 standard.
I mean, what I found online, and I can't think of the source, but it references the 2015 Michigan Residential Code, Appendix G. It talks about installing a fence, blah, 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 semicolon, or may be equipped with an approved safety cover. Are you an approved safety cover?
Correct. Yep, it is.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, certainly.
If we're to give a variance on something like this, the township's saying that it has to have a fence. If you were to give a variance against that, if there's an incident, does that make the township liable?
You're giving a variance from the township requirement that there be a fence, and you're substituting in its place a safety device that meets the standards as was discussed before. So, in my opinion, that it does not insulate the township from a lawsuit, whether there would be liability or not based on the granting of the variance. I would say no. The township has, this board acts as a quasi-judicial body. This board can make decisions based on requests for variances. I think what you have to weigh is if you allow the variance and you substitute another safety feature for the one that's referenced in our zoning ordinance, you're still providing for the same outcome, a safety feature that protects individuals from falling into that body of water, that pool, unintentionally or accidentally. Long answer to your question, Mike, but I'm not concerned with liability because you're acting within your discretion and you're providing for a different and perhaps equal or maybe even better safety feature. The fence can be breached if the public comment raises a valid concern. This pool cover is only good if the key is turned and it's shut.
Well, that's my thought process behind the question, I guess, is in the ordinance it reads you have to have an automatic gate, which I remember that from my own pool. You had to have a gate that's shut by itself. You say this cover is automatic, but it's only automatic if you push a button, right? Correct. It's not automatic. Somebody gets out of the pool, the thing shuts.
It's automatic in the sense that it's motorized. It's
right.
Not automatic, like it closes itself.
But you have to intentionally shut the cover. And I do know these covers are safer, you know, and they leave no gaps on the pool and you can walk on them. But I also, you know, I wonder if it was in a neighborhood, I'd probably be a little more reluctant about it. You know, because little kids running around playing in each other's backyard and stuff, you forget to shut the pool or shut the cover, then somebody falls in it. But being where it's at, I guess I don't have that much concern with it. That's it.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. What kinds of things would make the cover inoperable? What kind of things are typical fail type situations where the cover doesn't work for some reason? I mean, everything breaks, so what's the typical cause?
So the wear items on this is, I mean, one, the cover itself. So, I mean, you have like a 7 to 10, I'm sorry. Yeah, you have like a 7 to 12 year life on the fabric, so that you know, that's a wear item that needs to be replaced. And then the rope system that actually travels the cover, but that's a service we offer as well, though, you know, we monitor that, and during our opens and closings, that's stuff that we're looking at.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? No? Are we ready for a roll call? Oh, no, wait a minute. We don't have anything to vote on. We need a motion to either approve the variance or deny it.
I do have a
Yes.
question. Is there any type of alarm system that can be incorporated into this that I recall, and it's been years ago, and I don't know if any of you were on the board at that time, but we had a similar request which was granted, but tied to that was some sort of an alarm system that would be activated under circumstances. Is there one that comes with this setup, or is that an option, or how's that work?
So it is an option. So the standard is just a toggle switch, and it's as simple as that. It opens, closes the cover.
But you need a key to activate
You need a key to open up the cover box.
Okay,
correct.
all right, okay.
Then the other option is a passcode protected digital display that actually has Wi-Fi, and then you can get like email or push notifications that the cover is either opening or closing. And then you can also enable and disable passcodes from that as well.
Okay. But
That's on the cover itself, though, right? That's not if somebody's in the water. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, I thought it was connected to someone entering the water while the pool was unattended, an alarm system like that.
Yeah, I mean, there are alarms out there like that are kind of just, they work off the the water itself. I'd say with this cover, it probably wouldn't work that well, just because it's something that kind of cantilevers over the edge, where that's where the cover needs to kind of actuate back and forth. But there are such devices out there.
Okay, all right. Mike raised the point, and even though a 4-foot fence can be breached, and pretty easily so by most, by a toddler, probably not, unless an obstacle or something got in the way of the automatic closing of the gate, it could be breached that way. But if the cover's on, it's better than a fence, more than likely. That's the human element to this, to remember to close the cover when the pool's not in use.
Yeah. I guess my concern is 10 years down the road, the fence is there, the cover is there, or the fence or cover. I jump the fence. I'm not sure nobody knows how the courts will look at that, but I can see where, okay, I share some responsibility now because the fence is there, I jumped it, and I went in and went into the pool and something happened. The fence isn't there, and the cover is there, but it's broken. For some reason, it didn't close, or somebody just left it open because they were going to come out of the house and do it again. I jump in the pool and something happens, then I don't know. I don't know that I would share the same level of responsibility for that than I did when I knowingly jumped the fence. And so, anyway, are we, any more discussion? Are we ready for a motion?
I have a question.
Yes.
What if there's no power and
Ooh.
We do have a whole house generator that would
power
it,
to
yes.
close it? Okay. Thank you.
That's a good question. I think we're ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion to allow use of an automatic power safety cover for an in-ground pool located at 8501 Minks Road, Temperance, Michigan, otherwise known as parcel number 5802-024-003-57, in lieu of requiring installation of a 4-foot fence as required by section 400.901 of the Bedford Township Ordinance. The automated pool cover shall meet the ASTM F1346 standards for safety cover specifications spelled out in the 2015 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code per section 305, barrier requirements for exceptions for swimming pools and spas.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Does there need to be I suppose there still needs to be a practical difficulty. One hasn't been presented. Would either of you?
Good question.
Actually, this seems like more of a use variance than a dimensional variance, and there could be an unnecessary hardship in that case, requiring installation of the 4-foot fence surrounding the pool.
Well, we can't decide on a use variance.
The swimming pool's a permitted use I think what Pat's getting at is that you're using one safety device in lieu of a separate safety device.
I agree with that. And I think a lot of it has to do with, these pool covers, the quality and design of them weren't around when we wrote the ordinance. It may be included now. It's in the Michigan code.
It's in a rural area where the neighbors are not close.
That's another positive in your favor. Because I agree with Mr. Bassinger. If it's in a neighborhood, residential, I would probably have a problem with it.
I fully agree.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. Any other discussion? Jody, time for roll
Mr.
call?
Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Bassinger.
Aye.
Ms. McCormick.
Aye.
Ms. Barth.
Aye.
Mr. Potter.
No.
Motion carried.
Okay. The next item, I'm going to have to recuse myself because I'm representing the church and the farmers market in this variance request.
Leave me.
Yes, Mr. Bassinger will
Wait.
take over as chair.
Yeah, I want the hammer.
Got it.
Let's open the public hearing for the farmers market at Lambertville United Methodist Church, 8165 Douglas Road. Have a motion?
I'll move to open the public hearing.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Jody?
Yes, once again this year, the Lambertville United Methodist Church, as the property owner, is permitting the farmers market to seek approval for a temporary market use on the church property located on the southwest corner of Dean Road and Douglas Road. The farmers market was first granted approval for this location on May 2nd of 2016 and has continued with approval from the BZA with the last approval on April 3rd, 2023 with a 12-month extension until 2024. All approvals were conditioned upon no complaints or incidents and a submitted approval letter from the church to allow the continued use on the church property. This event has taken place on the church property for all these years with no complaints, incidents, or expressed concerns, and with approval from the church to utilize the property for use. Per the Bedford Township zoning ordinance 400.2204C 7F, the BZA shall review and the recommendation of the Planning Commission prior to taking any action. However, considering this same request went before the Planning Commission previously for this site, and no changes are being proposed to the plan layout that was previously approved and recommended to approve support for the use from the church, it was determined the Planning Commission's previous recommendations are still valid. The farmers market representative, Mr. Bob Powder, provided a letter dated March 18th, 2025, reconfirming the setup policy and procedures that have taken place in the past seasons and that those are planned for the upcoming season. Mr. Potter's letter references seeking a multi-year extension after 2025. However, ordinance provides for a 12-month extension, thus 2 years. A letter of permission to continue the use on the property from 2025 and 2026, should 2 years approval be granted, has been submitted from the Lambertville United Methodist Church dated March 18th, 2025. It should be noted the hours of operation are every Saturday starting May 1st, ending October 31st, 2025 from 9 a.m. to 2, and on Wednesdays evening starting in May, ending in October from 4 to 8. As noted in the submitted letter, the Wednesday hours did not operate in 23 or 24. However, the farmers market is considering adding that day again this year, thus the request to include Wednesdays. The previous approval plot plan is included in your packet for your convenience. As a reminder, the church and farmers market representatives have discussed those occasions where an unplanned event may conflict with the market setup, and both have agreed there may be required adjustments should an occasion occur. As well, the Township Board granted a fee waiver for this application on 4/1 of 2025.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody in the audience want to speak for it, against it? Seeing none, we got a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Support.
And I'm Bob Potter,
All in
1818
favor?
West Temperance Road.
Aye.
What?
All right, Mr. Potter, you have anything you'd like to add?
No, Jody did an excellent job. Thank you.
So just to confirm, this is May 1st through October 31st? 9 to 2 a.m.?
Yeah, so actually, we're starting Mother's Day weekend, so I think it'd be the 10th, that
May?
basically May through October, so.
For just 2025?
He's asking for 2025. The ordinance allows for an extension, and he would request 2026 as well.
Yes.
I will say before the farmer's market moved to the church, it was set up at the YMCA. So it has been success years before that as well.
The reason we moved to the church was because our location at the Y was pretty far off of Dean Road, and we've got a lot more visibility now at the church.
So would our motion be through October of 2026?
I believe we've been doing 2 motions, one for the approval and then one for the extension, should the board's desire be to grant that.
I would suggest you do it that way because the ordinance, first you're acting upon the request for approval, and the ordinance does allow an extension to that approval. So to make a record complete and clear, I think it should be 2 motions.
So the second motion can be through October 31, 2026?
Yes.
Do we have a motion?
Should I be here during voting?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Would like to inform the applicant we are 1 member short, so he will need 4 affirmative votes.
3.
3, sorry, 5, not planning.
You should excuse yourself during the vote.
Okay. Excuse me.
Okay, looking for a motion?
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the use of United Methodist Church, 8165 Douglas Road, Lambertville, Michigan, for hosting a farmer's market.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Jody?
Mr. Mahoney?
Aye.
Ms. McCormick?
Aye.
Ms. Barth?
Aye.
Mr. Bassinger?
Aye.
Motion carried.
On the extension, I would suggest, if you're so inclined, to make it conditioned upon no change in site plan, no change in hours, things of that nature, because the Planning Commission has looked at and approved the site plan, which they are representing to us, has not changed and will not change. But if there would be a change in the site plan, or if there would be a change in the hours, then they should have to come back at that time, both in front of the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. So an extension, my suggestion to you is an extension would be conditioned on no change in site plan, hours of operation, or other material aspects of the operation.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I will say that I would like that included as well, only because they had discussed in changes of this year, and I expressed that it would have to go back through the entire process to the Planning Commission. So that would then support me telling them that if there are any changes, and if we could also include that there shall be no incidents or violations of the request.
Okay. We have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the extension of the use of a farmer's market at 8165 Douglas Road, Lambertville, to last until October 31, 2026, conditioned on there is no change in the site plan and hours of operation or any other operational aspect of the business.
We have a second? To cover it? To cover everything?
Yeah, and I think it goes without saying that if we receive complaints or if there's a public health, safety, welfare issue that occurs that has not yet occurred, that this could be, and it can be revoked. The temporary use permit can be revoked under those circumstances. But absent that, I think the motion is fine.
Okay. Take a roll call.
Ms. McCormick, did you second that?
Yeah, I second that.
Okay. Mr. Mahoney?
Aye.
Ms. McCormick?
Aye.
Ms. Barth?
Aye.
Mr. Bassinger?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Get Mr. Potter back in here now?
No.
No?
I think we all let it.
Find out when the meeting minutes are approved.
Oh, okay.
So, let's see, the next item would be public comment. There's two people in the audience. Gail.
Mr. Gagne, get up here if you want to say something. Okay.
Oh.
Gail Kane, Temperance. Okay, this is not a scolding. It's just voicing a concern. I anonymously got some information that just kind of put me on guard, and I know that other people have voiced concerns. So I did the same spiel at planning that I'm going to give to you. A wise old man told me once that planning is the way the township moves ahead, makes progress, and it's done in tandem with the master plan and ordinances for the benefit of the community. The BZA, however, is that which steps back, not forward, because it allows somebody to break the rules with permission in a self-serving manner. I'm happy to see that there was definitely concerns voiced for a hardship. I don't think we should try to manufacture the hardship. It should be obvious if these people have a hardship. I also find it difficult to believe and would like to see it documented that for each one of the members that is voting, whether you did or did not visit the site plan. This coming to the meeting and looking through your notes and not having done your homework is concerning, because I don't get anything in the packet. I get onto the township or the website and I get the agenda, and that's all I get. Otherwise, I have to come in and critique Jody for a day, and she's not allowed to say a whole lot. So there's nothing in the packets for the public other than if you happen to get the notice. So there are things that are concerning to the rest of us that you may not think about. The electric one was a good question. It's obvious Mr. Mahoney did some homework in checking this code and that code or whatever, but there's nothing that tells the public that you did your due diligence to protect us by going to that site plan. You're paid. You are paid. So the township deserves you to give your time to each one of these conditions. There's times you don't have a meeting. I'd like to see some preset requirements for the pole barns. I mean, some of these things are just god-awful ugly, and they're put where they really should not be. And it does impact the neighborhood, and it does impact the way that people see the street. And if there's any relationship with anybody, it needs to be stated ahead of time. So that's all I'm saying. I wouldn't want your job, or I would put in an application for such. It's difficult. It's very confusing at times to understand everything. You guys got yourself a great person in Katrina and Jody in doing their homework and doing all the work. They could probably use some help in that department, but they seem to have a control over it. It's just that it's concerning when the BZA is breaking rules, when there's been rules put in place that protects these neighborhoods. And I was informed by phone that the previous BZA boards have approved these pool closings, but they've always made them place an alarm within the pool, just in case. And the problem is that maybe rural, but there's nothing down the line that doesn't put a neighbor who then decides to build their house with a variance 3 feet next to the property line. So this is the concern. It may not be, it just should not be looked individually. You need to take a look at the big picture and what could be changed down the line in the future. I certainly would be concerned, but the pond in the back is wide open. So hopefully the grizzly bear or the black bear decides to take a dip. They'll use the back pond and not the front pool. Thanks.
Thank you, Gail. Anyone else? No? Okay, the next item is board and staff comments. Do anybody on the board or the staff have any comments?
Yes, I would like to let you know the deadline for the next meeting is April 14th, which is Monday by noon. And the next meeting, I'm sorry for any of you that celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but it would be May 5th. I will send out that agenda if there is anything on Monday.
Okay,
Otherwise,
you haven't received anything yet?
I have not received anything yet, but it's not until Monday. So,
Because May 5th is my birthday, and
well, you'll be celebrating with us.
okay.
I will keep you all informed. I will send an email out on Monday afternoon if I do not receive anything. Everyone have a good evening. 29, in case you wondered. Alrighty. Thank you, everyone. Motion to adjourn? So be it.